The next session is a customer case. Actually, Autoliv is here and is accepted to share their experience on the implementation of integration around 3D experience. I think it's very interesting and very inspiring. So I will let Autoliv. So we have 4 people from Autoliv. We have Eric, Keith, Sandeep, and Sina that will present you how they face their challenge about integration. Okay, so Eric, maybe.
Hello, Philip, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hi. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Let's get the control, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. You should have it.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
So, so good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, everyone. As Philip mentioned, we wanted to share with you some of our example, what we have done, the challenges that we have faced with the integration, and I'll just move on to the next slide. So we have the team here. Let me move on to the next slide here to start off. So yeah, so thank you first TECHNIA to invite us for inviting us in this session. It's always a pleasure to share with you and also hear the experience from your other partners, customers, and whatever you are also information that you are bringing here in this forum. So you asked us basically to present and talk about our integration cases and how we are managing it today. We are in an early journey with your solution around the PLM. So who we are quickly, for the people who don't know Autoliv, which I doubt, we are in the business of saving lives with our product of airbag, seat belt, and any other mobility safety system. So we are saving life with a vision of saving even more. So that's what's driving us with our product, but also that solution that we are providing to our customers, the car manufacturer, but also to the society with all the system that we are doing to protect as well the pedestrian in the road. So we wanted. I've been asked to present that session on the integration, but I said, okay, let's have this the team here to talk about all what they have been experiencing, our approach. Yeah, and use cases themselves, they will be the better person to basically explain that. So I'm just here to moderate that and to present what we're doing, and maybe to set the context. Philippe has been a bit stepping on my presentation by talking about the journey of the PLM over time. So we started basically even before 2000 on a small PDM system just to manage our drawing, our CAD information, and then slowly started building small integration with other services to cater as well our suppliers already back in time, but moved on over time with more and more integration system connection to come today to a large mess, I would like to say, of integrated system, because the system is not anymore it's on managing product information, but also managing all the different disciplines we have from the supply chain, manufacturing, and also our suppliers that have a direct access to our system to look at the drawing and the product information. And obviously over time, the integration got more and more complex with a lot of challenges, obviously, that I would right here hand over to Sandeep to explain you how we started, what was our thought process of looking at TECHNIA and the solution. So Sandeep, would you take over?
Yep. So firstly, thanks, Eric, for sharing our PLM journey and its integrations and its complexity over the time. And we have seen how our integrations are increasing, and we expect that is going to increase in the future as well. So looking at this scenario, our main problem statement was, or our main need was, we are lacking a monitoring tool. So we are actually in a need of good monitoring because we have a lot of integrations around our PLM system. Our intention is to have a one place where we can visualize all our PLM integrations. So to talk about in technical terms, especially on the monitoring purpose, as we said, we have a lot of integrations where PLM is running today, and then we feel if any integration fails, we don't have an easy way to find the problem, and also that we're completely relying on the Tomcat logs today. So some cases this might be a bit costlier because maybe the data may be out of sync between systems, or maybe the users might be seeing wrong data. So this all led us to realize we are in a good need of a good tool that can help us to monitor all our PLM integrations. So that's a primary need from Autoliv side. And then the next point, if we look at the API management, so as we are seeing today, I think REST is getting more and more popular, and we are running on 13xe platform where we don't have a direct support of REST APIs where we can extract the data using a simple REST API. So also that as a result of this, other systems who want to interact with PLM, so even though they have the REST capabilities, but since PLM doesn't have this, so they need to adapt to our SOAP web service style. So they need to invoke our SOAP web services, which means it involves also some more development time on other systems as well. So we felt that all the time we are implementing the SOAP web services involves also a lot of development time, lot of coding. Rather, we need something better to handle our API management. That's our second need. And then the third need is more about setting up new integrations. So our experience with web services in Autoliv, we have seen we are implementing a lot of integrations using the SOAP style. So that means we are writing a lot of Java code. That means again we need to design it, develop it, test it, and deploy it, and also maintain it in the future. So we are seeing this a little bit difficult over the time, and the complexity with the integrations. We felt as TECHNIA has very good value components, like we have seen with TVC Classics and Helium, and we felt maybe we should need something similar that can help us to drive and set up integrations in a seamless way. That's another point what we have in our list. Maybe the next one, what we can see here is the PDF stamping or the PDF conversions. So today in Autoliv, we have a lot of processes that needs support of some external tools, like where we need to convert our documents, like the Office documents from Word to PDF or PPT to PDF or Excel to PDF. So all this needs some tools. So we realized that we need something. We have some tools, but we can't really see them, how they are running, or we cannot visualize if anything goes wrong with those processes. We need to, sometimes it's a little bit tricky to identify and fix it. So this also we felt like maybe we are in need of some inbuilt capabilities within PLM that can help us to drive the whole stamping process or PDF conversion process or any other process. So like this, we are also utilizing a lot of documents on other side to do the stamping process as well. So the next one, what we also have identified is the document properties. This actually works with the TVC file manager integration today. So we also realized there are some applications in Autoliv which do not have the TVC file manager integration directly. So as a result of this, when users download the files, they're losing this important information on the documents, like the document status or the document title. So some information on the document. So maybe this is also one of the core problem we had, and we have been trying to resolve it. But then we felt, okay, we need something that can help us to allow our external suppliers to download the files without losing these properties. Also, we have another system called L2L, where the manufacturing users are also facing issues when they download these files. So this is also another need we had to update the document properties in an easier way. Okay, and another potential need, what we have seen recently from our business counterparts, is the bidirectional integration between two different PLM systems here. So when I say about two different PLM systems, one is the Dassault Innovia 13X E system, and another one is Dassault 3DEXPERIENCE 22X. So this comes from a request from the manufacturing side, where they want to synchronize the data between two different systems, especially the manufacturing data between the PLM 13XE and the 3DEXPERIENCE system. So basically, these are all our needs. And then with careful consideration and evaluation, and with the help of TECHNIA, we found out a great tool that's TECHNIA Integration Framework, I'm going to explain now how it has helped us and how did we achieve, how TIFF has solved our needs, at least most of the needs stated in the previous slide. So how did we achieve it? Yeah. So to start with, we actually started exploring TIFF in the beginning of 2022, running some small proof of concepts. So where we had run some REST APIs that can extract some data from PLM. And we also had done some data transfers that can send some meta information from PLM to another system. And as a part of this journey, it is very interesting to us to see how TIFF is working with smaller cases. And then this drove us to go for small to complex integrations, going further using TIFF configs. So what we have also tried out is with TIFF configurations, we tried with a very small to medium to complex integrations. So here I want to emphasize two things here. The first thing is complex integrations, and the second thing is TIFF configs. So when we talk about complex integrations, recently we are in need of implementing an integration which involved many systems where we need to transfer the data from PLM to another system, which involves a lot of API calls back and forward, finally to transfer the whole data from PLM to another system. So I think TECHNIA has done a very smart way here to make the TIFF core very strong, that it utilizes the concept of synchronous and asynchronous jobs, which really helped us very crucially in this complex integration for us. So we're imagining while we implementing this, maybe it might not be possible with TIFF, but then finally, after we implemented the whole solution and rolled out to production, we felt there is a lot of benefit we achieved. And it's a major achievement for Autoliv that we did a very good thing using TIFF to implement the whole complex integration. So while talking about this complex integration, these two things are more important for us. So one is that we have very good transparent flow where we can see where our integration has started and how the whole integration is interacting with multiple APIs. And finally, it is transferring the data to the other destination system. And also as a part of this, as we have seen the synchronous jobs, we are extensively using for our triggers where we wanted to block some triggers based on some data from another system. So it really works very well. And when we talk about asynchronous jobs, I think we also have used it very well. So it exports the BOM data to another system. It exports some metadata to other systems. So this also works very well. And yeah, and I talk about the second point, the TIFF configurations. Yeah, I think the rightmost side, maybe Eric, if you can point out to the laser. Yeah, I think as you see, these are the typical configurations with TIFF. So TECHNIA has made it very smart that the components inside their products are very much reusable across the platforms. Like as we are seeing here, the table configurations and the data sets and the payloads. So we are using the same concept behind the products. So for example, now the data set can be used to fetch the data and show to the user interface in a classic PLM table. And the same data set we are using to extract the payload in TIFF. That means Technia has built its products that it can be reusable across its products with TVC Classic, Helium, and TIFF. So that's one of the beautiful features that Technia has made, and it is helping us to restructure our resources as well going forward with our implementations. And one more important feature, what we have found also with the payload visibility. So far, what we are seeing or experiencing today with our current integrations is we really don't have a way to see what data is coming to PLM or what data is transferred from PLM to another system. So TIFF has made a good platform, which is an admin UI, which helps us to see how the data is coming up and what data is being transferred to other systems. So this gives us a leverage to also see the amount of data being exchanged between systems and also the amount of data and the way the data is being exchanged between the systems. So this is how we have started our journey, and now I think this is how we have come up to a place where we are using TECHNIA Integration Framework very effectively at Autoliv, and we are here to show you up more integrations where we are here today. So if you look at this slide or this picture shows up where we are today. So we are almost closely running 15 APIs running in production in the last 6 months. And this picture shows up. I think the TIFF has helped us to solve at least 100% of our needs, especially what we have shown in the initial slides. On the leftmost side, what you see typically is the list of REST APIs or Innovia services that are running, where we can visualize all these active services running on it. And on the bottom side, you see the list of problems. I think this is a good place where whenever we log into TIFF admin UI, we can immediately see these problems if you have any. And it is a good place where it's helping organizations to act on the problems immediately. That's a great feature that TIFF admin UI has given us. And while talking about TIFF admin UI, it also has very good statistics. You can see a little bit bars on the top where it shows up the integrations running over the weeks, where we started maybe around week 20 to around current week. We have seen the number of integrations increasing over the time. And we can also, with this statistics, we can also see how many integrations are used, how much data we are running, and how many database calls we are seeing it. And TIFF also has a very good ability to show the overall health of the TIFF integrations, like how much the CPU is utilized or how much the SQL statements are running and which instances are free, which are really good indication for TIFF administrators to visualize overall status of our integrations. And not only this, the second point, as we mentioned earlier, we also have a problem with REST API management. I think TIFF is smart enough to solve this because it helped us to create APIs, which allows to create or modify data in PLM, maybe check in files or delete files in PLM. And in the same way, it also helped us to transfer certain data to a different REST endpoints. That's also a beautiful feature that Technia has given us with the TIFF product. And along with this, I would say our experience with TIFF is very good. And with this, I can conclude with few things from my side. So overall, the experience with TIFF is very good. TIFF is a very robust product, and it's very scalable. And from the performance point of view, it's performing very well. It does its job very well. Just to give a number, I think we're close to 800,000 jobs in production today, and we never had any impact to our PLM production system. That's one of the observations we had made. And with this, I would like to end up to say that TIFF is a very mature product, and it can be used for any 3DEXPERIENCE integrations for any organization. Overall, it helps to simplify a lot of our integrations. So with this note, I would like to hand it over the presentation to our next speaker, Keith Simpson, to talk about his experience with TIFF and also the future for Autoliv with TIFF. Thanks again for giving me this opportunity to talk about TIFF. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep.
All right, thanks, Sandeep. So like Sandeep said, I'm going to talk a little bit about our experience so far with TIFF, some of our pros and cons. We have a good rollout story we like to share, and also some of the things that we plan to do in the future. So I'd like to start off with configuration. So if you've ever used any of the TVC products from TECHNIA, TIFF goes right along with those, where it allows you to do a lot of things through XML configurations. So most of the things, the interfaces and that sort of thing that you set up with TIFF, it's just all XML files calling each other and that sort of thing. But they also, another good thing I like about how they set up their configurations is they allow you, if needed, to call into Java code. So if there's something that you need to do that you can't do with a simple configuration, then you can call out to Java. So while that is a pro, I would say it feels like we're calling out to Java too much. So right now, for various different reasons, we have to go into some Java code. Some of the cases were we needed to make a connection. I think it was a relationship to relationship connection. So it's a little bit odd, out of the ordinary type of thing, but we had to move into Java for that and not do it directly through the configuration. Also, we have cases where we need to access different destinations depending on what system we're on. If we're running in a development system, the destination for the other side of the interface would be the other system's development system. And if we're in production, we need to make sure we connect to the other system's production system. And in those cases, we needed to run some Java code to see what system we're in and manipulate the URL in those cases. So we have been able to talk with TECHNIA about some of these things. Some of these we think could be made configurable, and they've been very helpful in trying to get those into the product. Secondly, TECHNIA does an excellent job with its documentation. It has admin and installation guides that are very thorough and complete. Also, a full set of tutorials that will help you with your first interfaces, constructing those. I mean, you can cut and paste some of their code directly and just get yourself going, which is excellent. But a piece I think we're missing right now is the ability to generate documentations for the interfaces that you build within TIFF. So we're starting to build, I think Sandeep mentioned we have 15 or so interfaces so far. It would be really nice, and we're planning to have a lot more. It would be really nice if we had a system that could look through those configurations, the XML files, take maybe some comments from within those XML files and spit out some documentation or something that would allow other systems to know how they can access our system through its API. I'm thinking this would be something similar to JavaDoc for Java code. So that's a piece that I think that's currently missing within the system. Like Sandeep also mentioned, it's very stable system. This is just a pro for the system. We have a particular interface that extracts bill of material information and sends it to another system. It's running at about 2,000 to 3,000 jobs per day, and we have never had a problem with the system going down, it being too much for the system to handle, anything like that. Any issues that we've had has been with our own configurations or our own code. It hasn't been anything with the TIFF system itself. So that's stableness is excellent in that case. And I'd also like to say that we have a really good working relationship with TECHNIA. We've been calling them a lot when we run into issues and problems, and they've been very responsive and helpful, quick to get back to us. Several things that we have talked to them about that we think could be improved have been actually in the next release of their system. So they're not only good at helping us implement, but also implementing new features into their system. It's really been a good experience there. So next, I'd like to talk about a success story that we had. We rolled out TIFF interface into production a month ago or so, and right away we noticed that we had problems because as Sandeep mentioned before, if you look in the lower right corner of the admin UI dashboard, you can see the unresolved issues or the jobs that are failing. So we immediately saw these jobs failing. You can click on the job to get more information. It will show you the portion of the log file that is specific to that problem or that job. So you can immediately look in through the UI and figure out what's going on. And using that, we were able to quickly see the problem, solve the problem. We redeployed the fix, and then looked at the jobs that had failed and reran those jobs. And all of this happened. We were able to rerun the jobs and get the correct data over to the other system. And all of this happened without the customer noticing. So that was a huge benefit for us. So while this is all really good, I kind of thought in my mind, you know, what would have happened if we had not had TIFF in this case? So the first thing is we would not have noticed the problem. We have a lot of interfaces, and they're not all well monitored, like they will be when we bring them over to TIFF. So we had a case recently with a non-TIFF interface where it was a week and a half later when a user noticed that there was an inconsistency between our two systems. The data in the systems was not consistent. And we had to try to figure out what went wrong with that. So it could be a while before we figure out that we actually have a problem. Then once you do find a problem, if you don't have TIFF, you need to look through the entire log file. You need to try to figure out when this problem happened, where in the log file you might see an error. Sometimes we would do debugging in production, which is never very good, just to see what's going wrong. And so it might take a while to figure out what the actual problem is with the interface. But after realizing there's a problem, then you have to fix it, redeploy. That's not too different between TIFF and non-TIFF. But you still have a problem after you fix the problem, because you have inconsistent data between your PLM and OVIA system or whatever's TIFF is working with to the other system. So we would have to go back and realize, okay, maybe it's been a week and a half. What are all the pieces of data that should have gone from our Inovia PLM system over to the other system? Recollect those pieces of data, maybe using some handmade script or something like that, and push them over to the other system. So it's really a long process to fix a problem due to an integration or an interface. So everything that all those steps that I just went through that would have been a problem, we solved very quickly with TIFF. We saw the problem, we fixed it, we selected the failed jobs. You just select them in the UI and then click the resend button, and it's all done. So I think it's a really good story to say how, and that was, I think, the top priority that Sandeep mentioned in the first slide, our top need, monitoring those interfaces and seeing when they went wrong. So in the first release of TIFF, we saw, or actually I think it was second, but immediately we saw what the problem was and was able to fix it right away. So where are we going in the future? And Sandy mentioned a little bit of this already, but we're planning to use the TIFF batch engine for several things, one of which is the stamping, PDF stamping. Currently, we're using a system that's obsolete. It's unsupported, and we need to replace that with something that is supported and also easy to monitor. So that would be really good. Also, our updating the document properties in Office documents, that will be a big thing for us to implement. We currently have something that is homegrown that will work through, triggers and that sort of thing. But it's, again, it's not reliable, it's not consistent, it's not traceable, and all of these advantages we will get when we move to that thing to TIFF. We also mentioned the interface between our current PLM and Innovia system and a 3DX platform that we're implementing. So this is an interesting scenario. We have two TIFF servers running for each system. So we have a TIFF server running for the Innovia PLM system and wrapping that system with APIs and various things there. And then we have a TIFF server running around the 3DX system, giving it some APIs and for the we're sending data, lines and station data from our PLM system over to the 3DX system currently, and we're collecting the data using the TIFF server on the Innovia side, sending it over to the TIFF server on the 3DX side. And that TIFF server is extracting the data and creating the necessary objects in 3DX. So it's an interesting scenario where we're talking TIFF to TIFF, basically. Next, I think we're planning to do our existing web services from Innovia. We have over 200 different interfaces, and again, they're not monitored very well, at least. They're not traceable if things go wrong. So we are planning to move all of these over. It's going to take a while because there's so many of them, but I think the complexity of the integrations will be much less because most of them will be able to configure directly and not just be a huge mess of Java code. So, and then in the future, we're planning, I shouldn't say in the future, we do have an integration right now that's taking PLM data from our Innovia PLM system and pushing it to what we call a parts app. It's one of our search apps. It's collecting a bunch of bill of material information and where used information and sending it all over. And we're planning to expand that to other search apps that we have. And I think Sena, who's heading that up, can explain more in that area.
I don't know, Philip, or if we do have like another minute just to talk
We are
about
already
that
overboard.
Yes, go ahead, no problem.
Okay, I will not take much time. Maybe it will take a few minutes. But as Keith, thanks Keith, as he already explained, the purpose of our such apps, Autoliv such apps, is to consume the data available in PLM, make it quickly searchable, consumable, so that we will be able to give kind of a dashboard capabilities. Definitely Innovia has such capabilities, but still bringing this data from PLM, and not only from PLM, we will be able to bring data from system silos into our data hub or repositories, and we'll be able to use efficient search engine like an Elastic or Solar, so that we will be able to give full text search capabilities for an engineer within Autoliv. I'm sure Innovia does all this stuff, but still you need to have some kind of a PLM knowledge where you need to know type, name, revision, some PLM terminologies, where using this kind of a search apps, this helps to find the data as quick as possible. Also able to bring data not only from one system, maybe for PLM, we have engineering data, we can bring financial data from other system. We're able to integrate more and then bring it in one place like a data 360. So anything around parts, we will be able to use from our parts app. So we are building more parts like a search apps, parts, changes, mainly for the ECR, ECO, and especially the use case what we are trying to use is for bill of material. So we have a home ground custom program, which is taking the data from PLM and then sending it to our data hub. This is really cumbersome, and then maintaining, monitoring if something goes down, and then synchronizing is too difficult for us. But at the time when we saw TIFF use cases within Autoliv, we thought this is one of the good use cases for us to try. So we are able to take, if something changes in PLM, especially on the bill of material world, you definitely have a huge change happening on the where used. So you need to traverse a lot to make the data in sync in other systems. So this is a real use case where we really have to create TIFF jobs where TIFF can take care of this synchronization of data. Even if something goes down, as we've shown, we will just go and then just rerun one particular bill of material, not necessarily have to send every data from one system to another system. So here it really helps us a lot. And definitely we will be using more in this integrations of data from PLM to our such apps.
Thank you, Senna. I knew that they will extend. I see the passion of this guy on the TIC system. So yeah, that's the end of the presentation. So thank you very much for listening. And then if you do have any questions, I guess we will take them separately.
Yes, exactly. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, Eric, and thank you to all. It was very interesting. It's very surprising how you manage in few months to take over TIFF, understand the value of it, and implement it a good way so that you can have a real good added value very fast. So yeah, that's very impressive what you did. Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye.
Yeah.